Irish guy, and right, so that entire Premier League weekend was nutty. Straight up nutty. I mean, there was a 9-0. What? Can everyone stop losing 9-0 in the Premier League, please? Well, yeah, anyway, right, let's crack into the results then of the, Prem Catch-Up. Right, let's go. Liverpool 9, Bournemouth 0. I said that Bournemouth would stay up. This is a disgrace. How do you come back from this? How do you stay up in the Premier League after this? Honestly, no. We're still in August and Bournemouth have already lost 9-0. This is like within 2 weeks of starting secondary school. How do you come back from the fact that not only did you just call your new teacher mummy, but you also made a poo on the desk? Yeah, I don't think your popularity is ever going to recover from that. The next birthday party you'll be invited to is when you're 22. But I mean, where do you want to start with? How do Bournemouth recover from this? First of all, Scott Parker, as a player, a proud football man, let's get that right. Lads, he was the captain of Charlton, Newcastle, West Ham, Tottenham and Fulham. I mean, he's played Champions League football. He's won the Premier League. He's been coached by Jose Mourinho. Oh yeah, and bravely captained his country. Although that decision caused Steven Gerrard to almost vomit up his lunch. But it is sad to see someone like Parker, someone who was everything you would want in a midfield general, just with every day, now seeing him turn into Tim Sherwood. Honestly, 9-0. I don't want to hear any excuses, Scott. I don't want to hear that you haven't been backed in the transfer market. I mean, I'm sorry, look at Patrick Vieira. I know they're Premier League midfield legend. Well, 2 weeks ago, he took Crystal Palace to Liverpool. You know, a football club who, yes, have been traumatized by 9-0 defeats at Anfield before. So if any club should be scared of that ground, it's them. And yet they ground out a 1-1 draw. Even Fulham, the team he walked out on last summer, and they had no fear and nearly beat Liverpool earlier this month. And Parker, the fact that you quit Fulham for Bournemouth. Oh, how annoying is it that 2 of the goal scorers on Saturday afternoon were former Fulham wonder kids? 9-0. 9-0. No team in the Premier League should ever be losing 9-0 to anyone. One of these days, we're going to get a 10-0, lads. Lads, we are getting closer and closer. That was the 3rd Premier League match in less than 3 years to end 9-0. And what annoys me is that an Irish goalkeeper was forced to pick the ball out of his net 9 times. Lads, Gavin Bazunu is the one currently employed by the 9-0 addicts, and yet, no, Mark Travers is the one to have his confidence now beaten with a spoon. Lads, no goalkeeper ever recovers from conceding 9. Ever. That's why the Dundee United goalie should probably just go get a job at Burger King, because football's clearly not for you. Look at the Southampton ones. Angus Gunn is currently sitting on the bench at Norwich, and Alex McCarthy is crying into his cereal on the Southampton bench. And I don't even want to talk about Chris Kirkland after he conceded 9 goals at Tottenham for Wigan. Let's just say his career didn't go very well after that. And lads, right now, I am terrified for Travers. Let's not forget Bournemouth have just signed a goalkeeper from Barcelona. Neto is a 33-year-old who's represented Juventus, Valencia, Barcelona, and oh yeah, has been capped by Brazil. Travers, by contrast, is a 23-year-old from Maynooth, a former Weymouth and Swindon #1. I just know this former Shamrock Rovers boy is going to be a sacrificial lamb. I mean, there goes that hype. I mean, back in 2019, don't forget, this guy was the first teenage Premier League goalkeeper since Joe Hart in 2006. And is this really where his journey ends? At 23? I mean, how dare you, Scott? How dare you hang him out to dry like this? I mean, do you think we've got an abundance of Irish talents in our squads? Now, luckily, we're actually doing okay in the goalkeeping department with Bazunu and Queven Kelleher, but still, overnight, we've just seen a promising Mark Travers get turned into the next Paddy Kenny, someone who probably wakes up every morning and stuffs his face with ice cream. And I just guarantee you, this week, Parker, the under pressure Parker, is going to have a former Brazil #1 whispering in his ear that Travers is an error-prone watermelon with the reflexes of a Toblerone Easter egg. I just know what's coming next. Neto is going to replace him because goalkeepers don't survive after conceding 9. They just don't. It's like how a teenage babysitter doesn't come back when they accidentally stick the child in the oven. Yeah, I don't think you're getting hired after that. Great win for Liverpool, but let me know in the comments, what year are we finally going to see a 10-0 win in the Premier League? I mean, come on, what team is going to do it? My prediction is 2025. Manchester City will beat a newly promoted side. Maybe Sunderland. Yeah, Sunderland will be the first recipients of a 10-0 battering. In 3 years' time, just you watch. And why Sunderland? Well, maybe because subconsciously I'm thinking them because their former manager Jack Ross just lost 9-0 at home to Celtic. But yeah, brilliant win for Liverpool, although I had Mo Salah as captain in my fantasy football team. 9-0 win. And he gets three measly points. 3 points in a 9-0 win? don't get it twisted. When he got home after the match and he told his wife what the score was, how embarrassed is the Egyptian king going to be trying to explain to his wife that he didn't score a single one? It's probably like that professional Mexican boxer telling his girlfriend that, oh yeah, there were a bunch of knockouts in the YouTuber boxing fights on the zone, but he didn't get any. By the way, if you're new here, then just slap that big fat red subscribe button. Try to get to 150,000 subscribers as soon as possible, inching ever closer. So go on, slap that button, you absolute legends. Anyway, back into the video. Chelsea 2, Leicester 1. This Leicester team have nothing about them. Maybe that's harsh, but lads, Conor Gallagher displayed that he's got the brains of an elderly pig by picking up 2 stupid fouls and getting sent off after 28 minutes. That's the end of his Chelsea career. Don't be surprised to see him sold on deadline day. So Brendan Rodgers, let's not forget, you beat an 11-man Chelsea in the FA Cup final, and that was when the team were just a week away from being champions of Europe. So by this time, 11 versus 10 up against a Chelsea team who, I'm sorry, after losing 3-0 at Leeds, probably in confidence so low, they probably all woke up that morning crying in bed. But do Leicester make their one-man advantage count? And the fact that Chelsea had their manager sitting in the crowd? This team talk should have been so easy. I mean, this is a Chelsea team who are basically your home wreckers. Wesley Fofana has basically acted like staying at Leicester, and instead of getting his dream move to Chelsea, would be the equivalent of rubbing sand in his eyes, right? I'm sorry, but how much more motivation did the Leicester players need than to go out and win this match? But instead, Raheem Sterling scores twice. And considering Sterling was the original Fofana, enforcing his way to Liverpool when Rodgers was the coach, then seeing this former teenage brat now wheel away in celebration twice. Oh, for poor old Brendan. That was probably about as pleasant an experience as if he was invited to wipe poo off his grandmother's stomach. Honestly, Leicester, go out and sign some players. Johnny Evans turns 35 in January. Jamie Vardy is 36 in January. These should not be automatic first choice picks. And honestly, refusing to sign a goalkeeper and choosing to just persist with Danny Ward, how lazy can you get? If he's a Premier League #1 goalkeeper, then I'm a hunchback gorilla with bladder problems. Why are you trusting a former Tamworth, Morecambe and Aberdeen goalkeeper in the top flight? I mean, Martin Dubravka is begging Newcastle to let him go and sit on Manchester United's bench. No. Rodgers, give the Slovakian a ring, guarantee him first team football and the chance to save his career, and I guarantee he will be at Leicester in the morning. Or, am I mental in saying this? But offer Celtic £15 million plus Danny Ward on loan and Joe Hart as Leicester City goalkeeper. To me, that makes sense. I mean, don't forget, both he and Kasper Schmeichel were almost identical goalies at Man City at one point. It's just Hart won that battle. I mean, really, considering Kasper's dad played for the club and was an all-round legend in Manchester, you would think Schmeichel would have got the nod over a Shrewsbury Town I don't know what happened there. Honestly, Schmeichel should probably have been the goalie when Man City won the Premier League. But listen, there is a gaping hole of leadership left in the Leicester squad by Schmeichel going to Nice. There is a void there, and I think Hart's got the personality to fill it. Honestly, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to give up another Champions League night at the Bernabeu, so maybe turn on the move anyway. But Rodgers, you've got to at least try. Wolves 1, Newcastle 1. Alan Saint-Maximin is world class. I'm sorry, but why is everyone pretending like he isn't? This man is ridiculous. I'm sorry, but I've already said it. He's the best one-on-one dribbler in the Premier League. But now, he's also volleying last-minute equalizers under pressure. Let's get it right. Without Bruno Guimaraes and Callum Wilson in the team, Newcastle were a sluggish, stale, Brucey Ball-esque side in the first half at Molineux, but second half, after Ruben Neves' opener, they were brilliant. And that ASM goal, ridiculous. How is he not in the France team? There's a guy who turned on a switch from San Etienne to Arsenal when he was 18. But can you imagine if Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Saint-Maximin had all come through at Arsenal together? I mean, this guy would make Saka look like the modern day Jermaine Pennant. Saint-Maximin is incredible. I'm sorry, but he is, and it begs the question, how? How did Newcastle manage to get him in 2019? And let's not forget, that was the same summer Rafa Benitez quit the club, and they were then rejected by Big Sam, Patrick Vieira and Mikel Arteta. So why, in a period of crisis and with Steve Bruce at the helm, why did Saint-Maximin make that move? I mean, Patrick Vieira, the consummate model pro, when manager of Nice, he had public falling out with Alan Saint-Maximin and Mario Balotelli. Yeah, so lumping him in with world football's most obvious example of a waste man, coaches across Europe must have just surmised that Saint-Maximin was another bratish, arrogant diva with the likability factor of vegetable cake. But no, he's incredible. What a footballer. But here's a weird stat. Wolves and Newcastle have played each other 15 times in the Premier League. 9 have been 1-1 draws. In the entire history of football, that was the 19th 1-1 draw between Newcastle and Wolves. How weird is that? Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 2. This was another match where Dean Henderson. Oh, watching this game on TV. I guarantee you there are neutrals scattered across the country watching this who would have loved nothing more than slapping him in the teeth. Yes, you've just become the first goalkeeper in 4 years to save a Harry Kane penalty. Yes, it was your second penalty save of the season. But I'm sorry, you were still losing the match. Don't dance around like that lemur of Madagascar. And definitely don't be caught laughing with Kane at the full-time whistle. Honestly, it's the equivalent of failing a maths exam at school and then cheering and whooping in your seat when you manage to get the last algebra question right. Yeah, no, I mean, you're still getting 12% and getting a beating off your mum. I mean, honestly, whenever I used to fail an exam, she'd usually just throw a shoe at my head. But listen, it was a pretty good performance from Forest, but yeah, 2 Kane goals. And a quick word of Richarlison. I've already said that I think he'll be a £50 million Tottenham flop, but lads, that assist with the outside of his boot weighted onto Kane's head, I'm gonna say it, that's going to be the best assist of the season. I mean, that won't be topped. And then he goes and does keepy uppies on the pitch, and everyone reacts to that as if he's just bitten the head off a baby lamb. Am I the only one who wants to see showboating? I mean, whenever Neymar does it, oh honestly, Twitter, they talk about him as if he's just been caught on a mobile phone out on a date to McDonald's with a 13-year-old girl. No, calm down. I remember when Nani tried to ruin Arsenal's defence by doing keepy uppies at Old Trafford. I think it's fine. I mean, I don't get it. How can everyone say that they love to watch Ronaldinho play football, but then get angry when someone else tries to do Samba Flair on the pitch?
Oh, but it's disrespectful!
No, again, relax. It's not as if Richarlison just been caught urinating on the right back's foot. If you can do it, do it. I mean, footballers caught doing football skills on the pitch. Honestly, it's ability. It's what we pay money to watch. Honestly, if you get offended by that, there's some footballers out there where if they tried to juggle a moving ball, they'd probably look like a clumsy panda picking his bum at the zoo. I know, can you imagine Jack Colback doing 3 keepy-uppies in a row? I mean, he'd probably break his ankle after 1. So honestly, for those people that get so angry and offended at Richarlison for kicking a football, then I can imagine you're also the same type of cranky old person who probably spends 40 minutes screaming at broccoli in the Tesco veggie aisle. Man City 4, Crystal Palace 2. Okay. What is it? Why are Manchester City so terrified of Crystal Palace? Palace won here in 2018. Remember that Andros Townsend wonder goal? And also last season, Patrick Vieira's boys snatched the 2-0 win. And don't forget the 2-2 draw that Eddie had in January 2020 or December 2017. I mean, Man City had just won 18 league games in a row. Everyone thought they were going to be the Invincibles. And then Crystal Palace not only snatched a 0-0 draw, but Ederson has to make a last-minute penalty save. Lads, Crystal Palace are, and always have been, in Pep Guardiola's head. Even here, Man City were 2-0 down at half-time. At home! What is going on? I mean, this is just an irrational fear. Big bucks, Manchester City consistently being scared of Crystal Palace. I mean, it's weird. It was like finding out that Mike Tyson has a phobia of butterflies. Just relax. But listen, this is a brilliant comeback win. But can you imagine the half-time team talk? Lads, Man City's bench was surprisingly weak. It was just a wooden bench full of children. Honestly, it was like looking at a creche. I'm sorry, but 5 of the players had shirt numbers over 80. That's not a good sign. Aston Villa 0, West Ham 1. Steven Gerrard is getting sacked. Again, it's all just a bit sad, this. This is not how his managerial career was supposed to end. And the fact that a former Liverpool captain and legend just lost a managerial battle against the former gaffer of Everton and Man United. Oh, don't get it wrong. Being forced to shake a smug David Moyes' hand after the game probably felt about as natural as kissing a hippo on the mouth. But lads, what if Gerrard does get sacked at Aston Villa? What's his next job gonna be? What? In 18 months' time, is he going to be offered the gig of Derby County? Just be where Frank Lampard was 4 years ago? I mean, who reckons when Gerrard watched the Champions League draw, oh, he must have felt like punching himself in the teeth. If he just stayed in Scotland, he could realistically be competing on a Champions League night at Anfield, standing in the dugout, listening to that famous theme tune, and testing yourself against Jurgen Klopp. And he'd be coaching on a dressing room, hanging on his every word. I think we all know that at Villa Park, ever since he publicly embarrassed Tyrone Mings, I think the Aston Villa players probably all moaned about him behind his back. I'm guessing the likes of Luca Digne and Leon Bailey probably talk about Gerrard the same way you talk about that creepy maths teacher who constantly itches his crotch and flicks snuff at your bag. Oh, Gerrard, you were on borrowed time. And I know how anticlimactic it is now that you won't get the Liverpool job. If he'd just been a proud Rangers boss on a Champions League night at Anfield, if he got the Scots to maybe nick a point, then trust me, that would be the perfect audition for the Liverpool job. I mean, imagine if it's an entertaining 3-3 draw. I mean, don't forget, Celtic and Man City played out a 3-3 draw in the Champions League, and I'm convinced that one match alone was probably the reason why Brendan Rodgers, for a long time, was seen as the eventual Etihad successor to Pep Guardiola. I mean, not anymore, no. I mean, Leicester bottom of the league, and lucky about a stay in a 3-week-old beat the Bix. I mean, nowadays there's probably more chance of me vomiting out a kitten than Rodgers getting that job, but still, my point is that Gerrard, you should have stayed where you were. Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. Arsenal are top of the league. But lads, what a mighty scare this was. This reminds me of August 2007, when Arsenal began the season horribly. Just like here in this match, there was a calamitous defensive gaffe which allowed David Healy to put Fulham 1-0 up after 40 seconds, and then Arsenal left it late. 2 late goals from Robin Van Persie and Alex Klebb to snatch a win. But lads, the momentum gained from this match, it carried the club. They didn't lose a game until December. Lads, Arsenal only lost 3 times that season. 3 and none at the Emirates. People always forget that. They were still top of the league in February. And I think we might see a similar thing here. Arsenal are not going to win the Premier League, no. But I think we might see something mental. They might also be top on Valentine's Day. Southampton 0, Man United 1. Brilliant win, what more is there to say? Lads, Southampton have improved this season, okay? So this was a pretty good Man United win. And what a goal from Bruno Fernandes. But listen, good performance, but I am so impressed by Joe Aribo. This is the midfielder everyone should be sniffing around this summer, and not a wet sausage roll like Yves Bissouma. I've always said it's so overrated on my cry, but Aribo's control, his feet, his skill, his athleticism. Give it a year and I reckon we'll see this former Charlton and Stainstown midfielder at a club like Arsenal. Honestly, he's brilliant. Brighton 1, Leeds 0. Now, 2 teams who I said would go down. Instead, they're both comfortably in the top half. But yeah, this wasn't a great game. 1-0, Pascal Gross winner. Next, Brentford 1, Everton 1. I'll be honest, I didn't watch any of this match. I mean, Anthony Gordon scored. He wants to go to Chelsea. I don't know. Looked like a boring game, I guess. Anyway, so what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Tell me, how did your team get on? Let me know in the comments below. Enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.